بالله وكفى السلام عليكم همين في الجولة دي لكن هذا برنامجك أمور عالم كورك كجرام ولي بكم لها ورجيسكا إسرائيل لنقرضوا هير تاسيا ولي باشين محبوس إسرائيلية يوحفر ذن وصحك بحث دي رجيك عندك هاي برنامجك سينكاينا قضوا كلام سينكاي ولي بكم لها روتو يولي بوسا حرون تبع تويد كينيا كتاب فري ولا لها كينيا كويديا يتجاوز بدنياها قلها مدوغا أفريقيا وسنشرح نير رئيل ودينجا وهجامي معارض كينيا برنامجك سينكاينا qodobada kalena barnaamijka Sinkai wanaagsan gudbiyo waliba kumadaha dagaalka Ruushka iyo Ukraine waliba uu galay marxalad kormarkay khatarta guud barnaamijka Sinkai qodobada kalena Sinkai waliba kumadaha taliyaha ciidanka militariga Ethiopia General Birhanu Chula iyo waliba uu sababay rasmi oo saakasay dalka Morocco barnaamijka gudbiyana diyaaradaha TU-9 waa Ruushka leeyahay iyo waliba wana xambaareen gantaalada cululus waliba iyo shalay markaasaytii ka jaraan hawada Ukraine iyagu siibaan gantaalada Ukraine waa kirdaan dhulka Ukraine wadadaas warar kale ayaa si gudbiyana barnaamijka Amur Caalamka barnaamijka Amur Caalamka Warteelka Arlaadi la dareertana dagaalka waa Ruushka iyo Ukraine waliba hadda naga marxalad ku kormartay khatar iyo khatarka buuta sababtoo Ukraine iyo waliba iyo deertay dalqada Moscow markii markii koreyti Russian-kan waliba iyo isweydiiyayana Putin inuu daciifi taas waliba ka cadeeyana inuu qobad waa qaadna tilaaba muuji korta in dagaalkan uu xakameey koriyo su'aalo waa waliba taas su'aal galiday ilaa anta dareerasa waliba jirtay markii uu dhii weerarka tiyaatarka Moscow faala dheer iyo falanqeen iyo macluumaad leh yan libaahi hadda waliba markaasitii nagadahay ka xaalad Ruushka too eedan adag barnaamijka la dareertan taliyaha guud ee ciidanka militariga Ethiopia waliba uu saasaday booqasho rasmi ah ka saray dalka Morocco General Birhanu Chula يا ولي بوسميل سيكل كل ما يدكشي ميليتريغا مروكو كلنكا يوالدن وكلن كلبا كولدن حرونت الدفاع قرنيه كتالا مغالada Rabat ولن لما دنيا markaasaytii reed xoojiyeen iskaasho iniga militariga iyo silisa bileer markaasaytii waa silim bileeri lahay taliyaha militariga Ethiopia iyo saasato waliba uu saasaday warshada difaaca iyo taliska guud ee ciidanka Morocco boqortooyada Morocco iyo waliba iyo mashaariic shilgadisan ku fuliyaasay Ethiopia iyadoo saasato iyo markaasaytii taageeraasay hay'adaha iyo kamidata mashaariicda warshadaha iyo bacrimiyaha beeraha waa bacriminta beeraha ee la ka dhasow waa diridhaba wala lungordo iyo mashruuc iska bahaw beesa ka badan 8.7 bilyan oo dollar boqorka Morocco iyo saasato lama military boqosho waliba iska saday sabab barnaamijka la dareertan xarunta madaxtooyada Kenya waliba la ka dahfuray ololaha Kenya iyo fadaayta kursiga gudoomiyaha midowga Afrika kursiga waliba aan sharaxnaa Raila Odinga munaasabada waliba iyo geega goob waa ka dhigay madaxtooyada goobjoogka ee hogaamiyalka bariga Afrika oo kamidayna Samia Suluhu Tanzania ulhayketa Yoweri Kaguta Museveni ulhayka Uganda South Sudan iyo ra'iisul wasaaraha Burundi Garvey Nadrikabuka hatta Ruto meelaha hadal muhiim ah ka jeedi
no context of our Pan-African moment. These challenges range from political instability and associated governance issues, conflict and insecurity together with related humanitarian tragedies, cross-border and international crime, including various forms of illegal trafficking in drugs, arms and persons. Others include climate change, whose effects have trapped many countries in the difficult place between extreme drought on one hand and devastating floods on another. Equally encouraging is our firm shared understanding that this context is incomplete if we do not pay attention to the global implications of an African continent that is undeniably on the rise, powered by an unprecedented demographic dividend and equally incomparable endowment of natural resources, including critical minerals and renewable energy potential, which are vital for a future that is going to be underpinned by sustainable green growth. Our Pan-African moment, ladies and gentlemen, must be defined by the transformation of our collective capacity to solve our various crises and turn our potential into engines of sustainable growth and inclusive prosperity for present and future generations. In other words, the time has come for Africa to radically recalibrate its institutions to effectively facilitate growth and development across a broad range of spheres, thereby enlarging the field of possibilities of our nations and also our peoples. To seize this moment, we need an African Union that can coordinate, oversee, and drive important continental agenda in a manner that brings Agenda 2063 onto the fastest delivery track. This will be an AU that is empowered with adequate diplomatic, security, governance, financial, technological, and even ecological leadership, and a management capacity to steer us rapidly beyond the sustainable development goals to Africa that we all want for the benefit of every nation and every African citizen. The feeling that Africa is ripe for this historic moment of radical transformation is shared by all our people and all our friends. Nothing stops us from moving into the necessary gear to claim our destiny, and this is why institutional reforms at the African Union are fundamentally essential. This understanding of the monumental possibilities before us and the urgency of our historic moment was underscored here in Nairobi when, at the close of the inaugural Africa Climate Summit, the continent's leaders announced a new transformative agenda under the Africa Leaders Nairobi Declaration on Climate Change and call to action. Among many significant pronouncements, the Nairobi Declaration emphasized the imperative of just, inclusive, equitable, and fair multilateral institutional architecture as a fundamental prerequisite for us to transform our immense potential into inclusive opportunities and sustainable prosperity for all of us. Fellow African leaders agreed at the summit that this would be by enabling our continent to industrialize for the world while also decarbonizing it using our abundant human, mineral, energy, and natural resources. The Honorable Raila Odinga has spoken extensively on the same. To actualize this ambition, the transformation must begin here at home, in our continental institutions. Africa must aim at greater self-reliance and a more pronounced role in global governance. For this to happen, reliable and predictable resources to implement the African Union goals of sustainable development and deeper integration are necessary. To this end, I want to promise Kenya is firmly committed to upholding the Kigali decision and will remain a strong contributor to the AU budget as a pioneer in implementing the 0.2% levy on eligible imports. The evolving global landscape requires us to discard outdated principles, practices, and institutional arrangements in order to embrace new opportunities. It is a fact that our continent is now a significant global player, and we must leverage this enhanced profile to our advantage. The success of our transformation will be measured in terms of the relevance and effectiveness of our policies in transforming Africa from the ground up. Moreover, to give all our people and nations a fair chance to seize emerging opportunities, the task of addressing the persistent problems of state fragility and forgotten conflicts, while boosting humanitarian efforts, must further escalate significantly as a critical priority for all of us. Accordingly, Kenya has committed significant resources to processes aimed at achievement of peace and stability in our region, including in Sudan and also in Somalia. The complicated challenges arising from the prevailing geopolitical environment, including the impacts of war in Middle East and Eastern Europe, and the growing threats to cybersecurity at a time when humanity is increasingly reliant on technology and connectivity, which have intensified the dynamism and complexity of the operating environment of our institutions and require a flexible approach to technology and security. These are interventions that require leadership. Our commitment to strengthening multilateralism from regional to global levels remain steadfast. Kenya has already stepped up to enhance its contribution to Africa's development by championing institutional reform at the African Union. We believe that offering a highly qualified, experienced, and competent candidate to lead the African Union Commission is perfectly consistent with our commitment to the transformation of our continent through our institution of Pan-African unity. The Honorable Raila Odinga is a celebrated statesman whose longevity in leadership has been sustained by an unrelenting devotion to democratic change as the foundation of sustainable freedom and prosperity. Kenya has benefited from progress both on the broad
waayahay guud ahaan wali baan taagtiiraan barnaamijkii umuro caalamka ee Warteelka Arlaadi hamiin fayla